Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears Pro League. I'm Blaze, joined with Toby Campbell as we are about to head into our second series of the day. It's PK going up against eUnited, and this is one in which we all love, okay? We've watched these teams battle it out plenty of times before on multiple different stages, and it has always delivered. And, you know, I think tonight's going to be no different, especially with this new PK lineup that we got, Toby. You got Identivez coming back into the mix for the final split, the final season of Gears 5. He's reunited with Dezonide. Talk about a storyline for our lifetime.
Oh, I know. Isn't it just great seeing him back in yellow? There's something about that color. I guess you could call it gold, but it's close enough, eh, guy? I mean,
you know what?
Memories right there.
Exactly. The one thing I'm happy about as well is that all they had to do was just delete all the color that they had over the jersey before, okay? Because it's always been his default jersey on the graphic, and all they had to do was just go back to the original. He's looking good in it. But, you know, also with the talented, you know, Raver and Fearzly by their sides, and you know, the sharpest spear that we have in our league in Raver, and, you know, one of the best rotational, one of the best players. I call him the jack of all trades. You got Fearzly, he does it all. And, you know, you got the duel together vibing. So this PK team, they feel like this is the best squad that they could put together to give LatAm that chance at walking away with their first chip. Now, their opponents, eUnited, on the other hand, with Powerz, TJ, Demise, and Dyslexic. This eUnited team is one that you should be scared of every single day, especially, you know, with these four players, is because, you know, they can beat everybody, right? Just as long as they're not beating themselves. And eUnited, they've been hot as of late, all right? And they know that this is the last split. Powerz, a champion, he's looking to come through and, you know, help TJ and Demise get a major win. Help Dyslexic get his first win. This team, they just keep getting better. And, you know, I'm excited to see what they're going to grow into going into our last major.
Yeah, that's it, right? I have to bring up the last major because eUnited kind of turned over a new leaf, I think it's safe to say, to show that, hey, we can perform on Gears 5, akin to what we were doing with a much older roster, admittedly, in a much older period of time in Gears 5, back when even Mental was back on, you know, kind of the roster and the accumulated players that have come in and out as time has gone on throughout the players we now have on eUnited. And yeah, I think all eyes on them going into the next major. I think many casters, myself included, had them really as one of the favorites to actually take it. And when KCP were lost to eUnited, me and Taylor had the pleasure of casting that. We were just blown away. We thought that's it. We thought eUnited would wrap that one up. Of course, Rise was lurking in the corner. Question is, can eUnited turn things around now going into this major and also separate themselves a little bit from their opponent? Both of them 2-0, actually, in this instance.
Yeah, this is going to be who's going to stay undefeated, okay, and who's going to give the other their first loss. About to find out soon. And, you know, I'm excited that you said it, because this eUnited team, they proved, you know, them taking down KCP was huge there towards the last major. And, you know, I'm excited to see how they're going to build off of all of that. But let's get into their series right now. Picks and bans coming up. And, well, not picks and bans coming up. We'll get to that in a second. What we're going to go to first is our head-to-head for this series. And our head-to-head is going to be Identivez going up against Dyslexic. And as you can see, Identivez with the KDA third in the league of a 2.86. When it comes down to damage per 10 minutes, 33rd versus Dyslexic's 20. And then kill participation, 23rd. And Dyslexic, 34% on the other side. Toby, what do you get from these numbers?
Oh, absolutely. The first KD we see on the screen, the KDA, 2.86 from Identivez, and we know why that is. He had an incredible first week on this roster, guy. He had the eSwap controller play of the day, which is absolutely sublime. It was on Ephyra. Oh my goodness me. It still reigns through my memory, actually, because it was just such a good performance, and the meaning behind it as well for me is what matters. It's his first week back, you know, with some of these former teammates. It's the first time for PK here in this split, right? It was just with the roster change from Monkeys, who we just saw as well, an equally good player himself. But for Identivez to really assert himself in this new team as such a formidable player and playing as perhaps, his peak self, backed perhaps to the Gears 4 days, you might go for the memory of that, of his best days. It's great to see. It's the last split. He's clearly on fire, and he's definitely a player to watch in this match versus eUnited.
This is his best self, all right? And this is his best squad that he's been on in a long time. All right, now we've seen these teams go up again. We've seen both of these teams go up against each other in the past. Now let's see what is going to be the battlefield this time around as we get our band to control. Bye-bye the Ritual Reactor, Execution, bye-bye the Clock Tower and Canals, and then eUnited will get rid of Harbor for the Escalation. Okay, so the one big takeaway here is, PK saying, buy the Ritual Control, okay? They don't want to deal with that one. I'm surprised to see the Canals Execution band over there towards the end. But, they also say, we don't, probably, favor it well in that matchup.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's kind of just banning out their weakest map, arguably in that one. PKF really got Execution locked down in many ways. So yeah, really good. Interested though to see how the picks are going to play out. In fact, Regency will be the first map. Ephyra Xe, no surprise there. It's a huge ban to try and get through against eUnited these days, but you kind of have to focus on Ritual first in many ways. So hey, it's going to come through for eUnited. Huge advantage for them there. Question is, the remaining maps, are they going to favor eUnited or PK? It kind of flips both ways. Kind of depends on how you look at it. PK, a fantastic map in TG I think it was their best escalation map by far in the last Pro League split. Likewise, it's been a strong map for eUnited too, until, of course, Rise did that incredible performance in the last map at the grand final of the major. Curious about those last two maps, though, as eUnited have been really hot on checkout, but in the longest term, in the longest sentiment in PK and checkout and Xe, they have been the best team on the map. So curious to see what kind of PK we get today if we do find that map.
Yeah, I'm curious to see it as well. All right, going up against Raver, okay, him playing that secondary position, we've seen him single-handedly just take over games, and if that doesn't work out, you got Dezonide on the edge. And so let's head into our predictions for this series before I start going on a rant too early. Now, back to what I was saying. You don't want to see PK on that map 5, so you're going to have to take him down early. Now, I think the Knights, this is the season. This is going to be their dream season, and I think we're going to get the best version of them. I'm going with the Knights for this series. Why? I think they can take down eUnited in the executions today. I also like that Ephyra pick also. I think Raver can take over there towards the mid portion of the map in those stairs, and Dezonide plays that Torque lane very, very well. You also got Identivez there as another power weapon threat on this team if you need him to be, which that's why when I saw the Canals ban, hell, I would have took Ephyra out the rotation, okay? Let Identivez play snipe on Canals. He'll have the time of his life up there, just let him win the map for you if you want him to. So at the end of the day, if PK can come out and grab this map number 1, I think this series is theirs, and I'm going with them, all right?
Fair points. And honestly, if there is a team to beat eUnited and Ephyra, I think it would be PK. Truthfully, I think Raver through the middle is incredible. You raise Identivez, he was awesome, along with the rest of the team in the week that I was talking about, where he literally got eSwap Controller Player of the Day. He was fantastic, and he is the power weapon player. He is in a fantastic team in terms of power weapon usage, but I just don't see United losing that map. I'm sorry, they're just too good at it. They absolutely steamroll professional teams through the middle of the map.
That's true.
Before you can even switch through the cameras to see what the strats are. The round's already over, guy, because they've just killed everyone through the center. So with that in mind, yes, they've lost Regency United, but I think Ephyra gives them the edge in many ways. You don't have PK's clock tower, right? You just have that Ephyra to get through. I think if United go 2-0 up, there's no way they lose the series. Absolutely not. And TG is a strong map for both teams, admittedly, yes, as I said, but United, I think, are very good at that as well. Yeah, I'm going to go with United. I think actually this is their major. This is their split to kind of reign through and have the best time that they ever have in Gears Esports history on Gears 5. And I think, in fact, they've started to find their footing. They've perhaps shaken a little bit of nerves off after getting to the grand final, right? The rest of it before now seems like a blip, and they can kind of get through that mentally. Question is that grand final, that last hurdle? They've been warmed up, they practiced. I feel as though they can do it, guy. I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
You absolutely right. Hey, I'm vibing with you. The way you're talking about it, you're making me want to switch my pick, okay? But I'm locked in there for a PK, and I think we are both in agreement that the map 3 on Training Grounds is really going to tell us a lot about this series, and I'm super excited for us to get to it. But chat, who did you lie your allegiance with? Who are you feeling today when it comes down in this Goliath of a matchup between the Knights and eUnited? What is it going to be? Is it me? Or are you with Toby? You with me. That's what I'm talking about, Mexico. All right? Be with your boy Ozuna today. All right? We're going to do this. We are here. Nonetheless, we are completely unbiased casters, all right? We will call it as we see it. This is hard to tell who's going to come out on top with this one. But, I just know that, PK can help me break this tie that I got with Toby in our caster predictions. So if I give my cast a little bit of extra fire, eUnited fans, don't be mad at me. We got channel points on the line. You know how
Bias
we do.
Bias caster.
We got channel points on the line. What you talking about, Toby? I know you're not talking about bias casters because anytime that Epsilon squad got on the main stage.
I know, I was about to say, this isn't the Europe we should be talking about right now if we're talking about bias
Space Station, Fable? Don't let Fable on the main stage.
All those team names are kind of just the same team, just on a different org. So, yeah, absolutely. I love it. Here's the thing, though. I will say, Blaze, here's the thing. This is the first time I've deviated from kind of the Twitch chat and the Blaze prediction. So I'm hoping that they come out, stomping. I really do. I was 5-1, at the start. And I'm 6-1 now, actually, because DK clutched up in the end. So
it's going to make our
trying to keep that going. Twitch chat as well is also 6-1. Me and Twitch chat are having a scrap right now, it seems like. And one of us is going to come out with a better win-loss ratio, if you will, just like PK and eUnited in this one. So, hey, there you go.
Yeah, no, it's a scrap all across the board, all right? But that's what makes it fun, okay? And, we got to put some stock into it as well. These players putting out some exciting matchups and, we got our channel points. We got our caster's pride, for us to, put all of our thought in these predictions to want to come out on top. And, we have a lot of fun with it. This is Gears, fam. And, at the end of the day, we're always due for a great series. And we got a great series about to load back up. It's PK up against eUnited. Heading into hill number 1, it's a brawl in a Rose Garden. Fearzly versus Demise, and TJ gets first blood.
Absolutely important that he has a good warm-up on this one. It has to be said, Blaze, as we go into Ephyra. TJ is kind of that key player in the middle of the map. He is the component that results in a lot of these star-studded performances on that map. So, hey, if he can get off to a flying start, if Powerz can have the kind of start you'd expect from him and his team playing on Ritual, then PK will be in for some trouble. But saying that, a strong start for United overall, but PK quick on that rotation, Embar in hand, but Dyslexic is lurking, finding the 2, and he has the 3rd in front of him. Fearzly full red. He will get the down. But United are close by to try and pick up that last remaining kill. They will find that and the remaining points in that hill. A strong start for United.
Beautiful start from eUnited, winning the team fight. They're up by 46. They got the rotation for the spawn, and then they got an Embar on the back of Powerz. They also got about 10 seconds of scrap time to take a breath, talk about what you want to do, relax, not allow this to be too much off the start of the game. So far, Powerz still 6 shots in this Embar. You'll have a clip of active soon. Now, PK on the opposite side. They got some pressure here towards the mid stairs with Fearzly, but Powerz, the body shot there to Dezonide. Identivez taken down, Fearzly taken out, and that's eUnited winning a clean fight. And they're gonna start pressing out towards the mid map. They're gonna push this defense out as far as they can, and that's a great trade from Raver just to put things off tilter on the map.
Yeah. 2v1 situation. And all you can expect of him really against the players that he's against is honestly finding a kill, and he did exactly that. Now, Powerz with that Embar and the frags for good measure for this team fight in front of us. Does it even need to come through? There's the second one, right?
They're short.
Well, right. Oh, no, it's just past the pillar as well. You're right, guy, it is short, but PK, can they take advantage of the situation that's been presented in front of them? They're finding the kills. Demise isn't able to find his. Raver with the second. Clearly having some great kills already. Powerz trying to clutch up in the back line. Dyslexic is down. The revive comes through, but
there's help.
PK will get the remaining kills. eUnited need to focus now on the next one.
I cannot stress enough, like that single kill that Raver got at the Garden, how important it was. Because if he doesn't get that, that defense from eUnited is at full strength. Instead, PK was able to rush 3 up top and kind of force a 3v2 in a sense. And they also got some luck that those nades were missed out by eUnited. They usually don't miss plays and opportunities like that. But a 26-point lead for eUnited. Dyslexic picking up some kills at Statue, taking a lot of damage, working his pillar very, very well as he's going to be able to get his health back, working off his left hand, getting some help, and he gets the clean up. He'll be back with the squad. They got spawn control, and take a look at the minimap, folks. eUnited, full defensive setup. EK, you're going to have to try to break through from the middle. They don't have anyone up top whatsoever. They got to make good uses of the shot grenade if they want to rush it down low from the stairs.
Yep, good shout. EK, really a full commit here through the front, as it looks like. Identivez kind of locked in on that mid line. Yeah, and number 2, number 4 on the minimap kind of turning around to ensure nothing happens around there. Here comes PK from the front, stunned a second time. No shots, no damage really put out from them to help them with this aggressive play up the stairs. And
that's a huge 1v.
Clean sweep. Identivez, yeah, he gets the kill. Cannot stay alive though, importantly, to ensure that the short spawn will come through. United were a little bit too quick there to ensure PK spawn down bottom. So again, we're back to square one for PK to try and get back onto this ring.
What PK is doing well is the 1v1 lane, all right? That 1v1 lane, making sure that it's active and that those players are focusing on each other, because it's a lot easier to have to rush in and play a 3v3 and get revives and find those advantages versus a 4-man rush. Because that third Lancer is a lot into the mix versus, you know, the shoddy personnel you got to have on the front lines. Nonetheless, as we rotate towards rotate towards this fight that's happening at Couches, it's PK. They're able to clean up the kill there on Powerz, but TJ, Dyslexic, they'll move in for the double down. Identivez with a body shot, and a body shot again. He misses the third, but 2 kills cleaned up. The shotty's out. He took a bad angle. Nonetheless, PK will be able to start collecting in on some points as Raver is there. He's by himself, though. No help on the outskirts. Also, that M-bar got backpacked when Identivez died. Off the respawn, makes up for it, taking out Demise. TJ picks up the nades, and he's darting up top, dashing to make it there with the Dyslexic to be able to have a factor with these nades, and he will. Still holding down the back lanes. He goes down. Dyslexic goes down. Trapped between multiple lines right here. eUnited, they don't get mauled, though, just yet. Demise fighting back. Ultimately, the king himself, Dezonide, he'll be able to take him down. eUnited has him in a pinch, trapped in a corner, can't do much about it. He's a big distraction. He allows his teammates to come up the stairs, though, Toby. He can't use that right hand just yet.
So true. So true. United had a great spawn as well, not only for the current hill, but the second hill. Should the positions maintain themselves, right, as we go in for the next one. Identivez perhaps spotted that early. They've gone outside for the shot grenade. Raver and Dezo are also waiting to cut eUnited off for the next one. And so the target remains to be Dezo here in that traditional spawn of Regency, just off to the left there of the eUnited players. Under a lot of pressure, though, and eUnited will have to even test the water in terms of coming out a different door.
They got to play off their left hand. There's no other way around it based off this angle that Dezonide and them have. The only way you get around this is that player 2 being Demise makes a huge play in that 1v1 lane down low. But he's taking a lot of damage from multiple players. And you can see PK just back up even a little bit more. They allow eUnited into the open space. But is the focus fire there? Dezonide joins the fight at the right time to allow his teammates not... Oh, they still allow Raver to die in that situation. Powerz finding 1 kill can be huge. But if PK, they slow down their pace up a bit, and eUnited, they break through the middle. That's a lot of kills that came there. And the spawn's flipped as you called it. Fearzly does a lot of damage, but no one there to clean up the kills. PK actually gets in at the right time, and Demise was cleaned up from afar. So that first down that Fearzly got was cleaned up. Pretty much a double kill for him to allow his teammates to get back to this hill. And it's been chaos since we've made it to the fountain. But I think PK finally got a hold over this burst.
I think so. Fearzly to get the M-bar in this situation too is just huge. PK had to race for that last team fight on that hill due to losing that short spawn as mentioned, but Fearzly, 5 shots in this M-bar, looking for that angle down the center, has to make sure he stays alive in this situation because he can at least control the up top area of Regency as we go into that rotation, and also pressure down middle too to allow his players a little bit more support fire, if you will. Looking for that shot on Demise still as he goes cover to cover. eUnited still quite a nice score lead actually, Guy. They do have a bit of a cushion here to work with. The rotation is there for them, and they certainly need that at this point because hey, PK have started to turn around the Slaying department and respond in kind.
All right. The nade slows down the initial push. Only 3 shots left in the M-bar. So an aggressive play coming out here for Identivez. He finds one, even though he's taken out. Dezonide follows up right behind. You need a quick follow-up kill. The body shot is there. Fearzly, I don't fault him for going for the wrap shot. You know you hit a body shot. Try to get that kill cleaned up quickly. Then you know you can at least revive train into a 2v2. Instead, it's eUnited with the hill locked in and PK towards mid-map. His new nades coming up. Dezonide going wide, but he has to worry about player 4. 30 seconds to the nades. He's distracting too. And his teammates know it. They got the 3v2 up top. Trying to push out as wide as they possibly can. They survive enough for Dezonide to distract the third. But kills need to come through for PK if they want to be able to capitalize off of this. Even on numbers. 2 downs for eUnited. Big revive. Allows 3 to get back, and eUnited should be able to get this hill. He just got to take down Dezonide. Or am I wrong?
I'm so surprised right now. I'm so surprised. Dyslexic finally will fall. Great. Finally, Dezo will push through. Based on the number situation, when they had a 4v2 at the start, I would have thought that PK would rip away the hill control, but for eUnited to battle it towards that last 1v at the end, staggering the slaying ability right now for eUnited to clutch up in those scenarios. And now as we see Regency go into more of a rotation for this next hill, absolute chaos throughout the map, to use the word you described earlier. And Powerz has been able to get a lot of these double kills, Guy, but he can't keep this up forever, right? And he can't keep clutching up eUnited because PK, yes, they're starting to come in their own, they're starting to warm up. The KD, of course, Fearzly might stand out to you there, but fear not. The score is clearly going back in the way of PK right now. They've had a great rotation to this garden. eUnited need to start coming together as a team at this point rather than just rely on their individual talent.
But you know what the thing is about the individual talent? They all share this trait. It's like a culture with the team, and it's the reason why they were able to hold off to that last fight and the last hill. They're very good at assessing when to get damage in, right? They know when you're not looking at them. They know when you're not respecting them. And it's like, hold up, you're not going to chase me? You're not going to keep a lance over my head? Well, bet. Watch. I'm gonna just tag away at you and make you feel uncomfortable. So you always have to follow through with trying to wipe out this team, because if you give them time to think, they're going to do exactly this. Work together as a unit, put that pressure on you, clean up these kills, and now they have, pretty much full countered and now put PK in a position saying, you guys are going to have to kind of play downhill for these spawns and work extra hard for them. They're giving up a lot of time on this hill, but I think PK is okay with it. You think about the comeback that they've made so far, Toby?
I know. Huge. Absolutely huge. 10 seconds left on the hill. If you're wondering why Powerz and TJ are committing to that full push to the right, or I should say, in fact, it was Dyslexic going with him there, but losing Powerz in the M-bar in the process, they're still picking up kills, nonetheless in this spawn. But PK, you can see what their objective is. Straight off the conclusion of that hill, they're trying to push the back spawn, finding Dyslexic. TJ, left in the corner, will get 1 kill again. eUnited, right in front of us, Guy, clutching up as individuals. They're keeping it closer than they really should be. PK, fantastic job. As a team, their flank comes through for Fearzly. Raver will clean up TJ. And Demise, forced again into a difficult situation, will fall. And eUnited, a clear hold in front of them being held by PK. And eUnited need to start thinking as a team now to rotate and get back into this game.
You know what? I think that eUnited should just put more of their focus initially on gaining those spawns sooner in that last hill fight. It would have put them in such a better position ultimately, it's PK about to get, I think, the first official lead change in this game for them, as they're going to have to hold off on the final 30 seconds. Powerz has a full, he has a full power weapon loaded up. The M-bar, 6 shots.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just going to move out. I like this rotation. They know that PK is not going to sit for all of this time. They're going to give up at least 15. And in that, you just got to accept the fact that that was not worth it to contest for. Powerz will sit back with the scope. He's going to hold this mid-map. Yeah, try to get these marks out.
Check in the middle as well. Love it. Definitely one of the biggest hills to
PK stay together, though.
But not pushing, right? Absolutely.
They're wolf packing
over the top. Powerz needs to be there. He needs to be pulling his M-bar right now. He does get that check, looking for the sack and can't connect.
He shouldn't get
the revive. Didn't come through either.
Late.
It does come through in the end, but it's not enough time. The double comes through for Raver, and just again, PK, they use the full numbers through the front to find those initial kills.
Yo, and
TJ, again, able to get a kill out of nowhere, but no, I think the damage is done here, guy. eUnited were forced out. PK have got that short spawn on lock as a result, and now eUnited have to respond.
Yo, somewhere Colin's pulling out his hair, okay? Because he's looking and saying, Powerz, why did you just go for the flashy play? Why didn't you just revive him off the ground, all right? Just hit X, get him up, all right? You got the first chunk, but those players were lined up. He knew he'll get a second kill if he hit this shot, but he just missed it, and the revive came in late. Ultimately, PK got a good amount of time because of those fights. In hindsight, eUnited, they responded quickly enough to be able to get the lead off of this hill, as PK isn't at full strength to be able to contest just yet. They get new M-bar, and they're going to get new nades. PK is going to come away with these power weapons, and they're only going to be down by about maybe 10 points. And then from there, we're going to statue. A hill in the middle.
Seconds left as well, mind you, guys. So this is a consideration whether they actually go for this.
Oh, you don't. Dezonide's going to get the shock, I think, maybe?
Yeah, it could absolutely be utilized here. All these power
just back up.
eUnited realize it. They've rotated all the way around. Powerz is already there flanking through.
They're being cautious. Nice nade.
PK off. That's true. Does that catch? No, it doesn't catch Powerz right on the end of the radius there. He will get pinched. Dezo with a kill. Fearzly coming into his now well dyslexic with the counter.
The save.
But again, PK, they're doing so well, guy, towards the latter stages of this map. Time and time again, they are the ones with the numbers advantage going into team fights. eUnited are the ones having to clutch up. And it's not working out as a result. I'm surprised the eUnited are even this close in score.
I think this is a situation where eUnited just can't think. They need to get into a fight soon because you need your opponent to start wasting these power weapons, all right? You need to start trying to get them to use them up as soon as possible so you got some more time to work with at the end of this hill to contest. Because it's their fault that they didn't press out soon enough to at least play for one of the power weapons. Rather if it was the nades, rather if it was the M-bar, they had that opportunity. Raver misses a shot over the top. He has one bullet left in the clip. They're playing out wide on their left. TJ not able to get the damage that he needs. And Demise, a lot of pressure from behind and from the side. The Knights have the hill locked in, and they win exactly off this total. Actually, I think it's going to be off a second once again. eUnited, they're getting pressured, and this is where the Knights, they're showing their fangs because the simple fact, they know that the deaths are staggered, and so they're going to keep utilizing the numbers in which they have, Toby. Keep this advantage in their favor. This is where they feel the most comfortable. TJ trying to fight for his life, hold him back. Demise can't get the kill that he need, but they did buy enough time. Oh, no, actually.
They can win. No, they can win off this one. Absolutely. I just wanted to see eUnited have a team fight in full strength for at least the first time what seems like an age here in Regency. PK continually just having the numbers because of their positioning, and that's it. Now, 10 seconds to go for them to finish this one off, and they can finish it off on this hill, guy.
Powerz, a great play from him, but that shot from Raver over the top was well timed. The Knights, they strike first in map number 1. 300 to 257. Whew, that was a banger. That was good. Down by 100 or so points. You know, we see the efforts there of Identivez, 20 assists to his name, +3 on the scoreboard. You know, him and Dezonide did a great job working together as that duo. Look at Raver there too as well. Most damage, second most damage on the team, +7. PK, once they got ahead, they never looked back, Toby. And so, you know, where do you feel like eUnited kind of slowed down? Where did they falter? Because they had control for most of the game.
They absolutely had the control the start of the game, that's for sure. I think the mid game is when it kind of started switching over to PK side. eUnited, for some reason, just started just going into total, I wouldn't say solo mode, perhaps that's unfair, but they just started looking a little bit too scrappy. They weren't just so, cohesively working as a unit. We go back to that Powerz example where he went for the flashy M-bar play instead of the revive. Even in that situation, guy, it was a 2v3, a 2v4 for a situation, and time again, that situation repeated itself. eUnited were on the defense. They have a great position. But then when they react to PK pushing in, it's lackluster. They didn't rotate out to create distance to allow Powerz to get the M-bar shots off. Instead, they were like, you know what, we're just going to hold. We're going to 2v3 or 2v4 these guys, no issue. And they were keeping the numbers stable at the very least many of the time, just because, again, individually they were clutching up. But it doesn't last for long. You're playing against PK. You're playing at this level. You cannot rely on yourselves to individually just outperform your close individuals
also,
time and time again.
If they do their homework, they know as well that when PK are down, when they want to win, when they're vibing, they're always together. Okay, they're wolf packing. This is a great example, and here's the flashy play.
Numbers, guys.
Shots, revival.
Green right now.
But hold up.
And the eUnited players are just 2 on their own. Demise on the ground.
Yeah.
Only now just 1 and 4 turning around in the form of TJ and Dyslexic. Why haven't Powerz and Dyslexic backed off way earlier than that?
And even in that situation, it's almost like he has to just let that go a little bit sooner and not commit to the shot. Because I want to say he can not commit to the shot and go for the revive right away. It just wouldn't be a full charge.
Revive straight away and sprint away. You don't need to hold that in a 2v4.
And also too as well, when you talk about it, it was the first, I think it was the first Fountain Hills where things really started to turn around, and there was a situation. No, it was actually the second Rose Garden Hill entering our second rotation. The rotation up top towards Brochure, P2. PK were trapped in a corner at Fountain, and then they were surrounded by eUnited. That's a situation where eUnited needs to group up and play from up top, play for the spawns, and play for that P2. Because still in that moment, eUnited had the lead. So you just got to go and play for the objective rather than being in that mindset that we're up in points, okay? We've been slaying them out for the first half. We can kind of just have our way with them. We can vibe and win those individual fights. Not when you lose the core, okay? When you lose those basics and those flashy plays come out, that's when those leads start to crumble that way. And so PK, they just got tighter throughout the matchup, and quite literally, all right, because they were in packs of 3s and 4s or even in 2s the whole time, and they were just fearsome together, better as their unit. So PK, they take map number 1, but we got to head on over towards map number 2. It's going to be Ephyra Execution. And this is the United's best map here, Toby.
It is, and you'd expect them to actually take this map. Absolutely. Yes, they lost the first one. Yes, I've just been harping on them making mistakes, and don't get me wrong, I will continue perhaps if they do, continue to respect numbers advantage sometimes, then forget about numbers in a basics defensive situation to others. Yeah, I will. But saying that, individually, they were actually really good, weren't they? They were pulling kills out of situations they really have no business doing against PK of all teams, and that's kind of the individual skill you need for United to dominate on Ephyra. They know it like the back of their hand. They know how to strategize around it. They know how to counter different strategies as well as teams try and warp around this insane push through the center. TJ seems to be on form. From the get-go, he was getting doubles on Regency there. And he's the core component, the core player in that Ephyra strategy through the center. So, hey, PK still have their work cut out for them, but a well-deserved first map. They absolutely were the better team on Regency in that second half. No doubt about it. But eUnited, being the better individuals, perhaps at times, right? KD-wise, they certainly were at the start of Regency. Perhaps that can get them through Ephyra to tie things up.
Perhaps it will. But, I think the one matchup that we can really kind of, that we're going to be watching a lot of, I do believe is Raver versus TJ, actually, I want to say there towards mid-map. No. TJ plays drop shot on this map. I'm having a brain fart.
We'll check. We'll check. TJ. Yeah. TJ is a core component for a lot of these team fights.
It is. It's either going to be him and Powerz in middle. It's just pretty much, you got to shut down Raver. Okay. And I think eUnited knows that. And it's going to be one of those two there towards the middle who's going to have to really kind of put him on skates. All right. Have their way with him. And we'll find out who that's going to be soon. But, when it comes down to Fear and the strategy, for the most part, you get mid-map control, and then from there, you can use your angles to either acquire that torque bow down low, work back up top, be able to, acquire that drop shot. And that drop shot 1v1 lane is super important because if you don't go there and contest that guy, he gets 2 free drops. So you typically see if you put a player over there, you're able to force one pretty much every given time. And if you're able to at least force one over there, then that means that you open up mid-map for a few more, maybe flank angles, being able to rush 3 towards that mid-map. You give those players a little bit more space to work with. And then if somebody brings someone outside to defend you, to try to 2v1 you, you can use your numbers inside, take the 3v2, get the numbers, get the bow, use those 5 shots. But, you're going to have to just probably take the trade-off, and just hope that they don't connect with those 2 drop shots.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a huge component of it. We talked about the middle so much on Ephyra, both today and in previous casts as a talent team, but you have to point out that there is a drop shot on the map still. It isn't shown as much attention as perhaps... Yeah, go for it.
The drop shot, would you rather be in a 2v3 and have drop shot, or would you rather be in a 3v2 and have bow?
It's a great question. Depends who's holding the torque bow rather than the drop shot, right? We've seen so many different pros miss that shot in the past. I was about to compare to Fearzly bow, right? Boom shot on that map that controls everything on Fearzly bow. Every single strategy is revolved around that at the highest level, especially when you throw in, say, weapon slide and those kind of things, right?
And that,
but the interesting factor with Ephyra, absolutely one of my favorite XE maps of all time. I'm so glad it joined the cycle. Is that you have that differential. Drop shot is easily the most powerful weapon in the game. No discussion about that. But yet there still isn't that huge presence outside every single round. If this was like 2008 guy, we'd have like 3 players outside at least on drop shot side, and then maybe one to kind of have the one be in the middle or over by the torque. But we don't, do we?
No.
I had the pleasure actually casting over Team Deserve and Massive in the European side this past Sunday, and Team Deserve actually won by 1 round in the end, and it's simply because they were being a bit more strategic on the map. They were varied constantly, while Massive, Pains, Crimsons, etc., you know what they're like with raw skill. Continually just dominating through the center. I'm like, you know what, we'll just carry on doing base. We'll respond. Base. And it got them far, but Team Deserve got so many rounds because they just went all in on their drop shot and then played the slow game, making sure they didn't get stuck. So definitely a strategy to incorporate for BK or likewise eUnited if they start losing in the middle.
All right. About to head into map number 2. And Toby, I love how you mentioned, Fuel Depot, because that's a great example of that analogy once again, because you typically saw on Fuel Depot a lot, 2v3s where the 2 team had snipe versus the, 3v2 with the 1 squad having boom shot. But at the end of the day, you actually want to be in a boom shot team in that situation. Those may not be equal, maybe just equal for me because, I had active downs. Nonetheless, eUnited actively downed all 4 members very quickly to win round number 1 in 19 seconds.
Yeah, crazy. There's like barely a presence outside. Most of the map is outside. It's not indoors. You're not confused right now.
Such a beautiful scoreline.
Viewers at home. Absolutely nuts. And Demise, an ace. Literally an ace. And don't get me wrong, it was not a solo effort. That's for sure.
It was a clean effort, though. It was a clean effort. That's what you need out of Demise right there. And it's actually Demise versus Raver is the storyline we want to talk about. I got Identivez in this mix as well. And that duo, Fearzly finds a prime opportunity to take down TJ, and chaos erupts as eUnited looking for some kills. They rush Dezonide down low. Dezonide plays his life, puts out a lot of damage to help his teammates out as the flank's coming through in this 3v1. Powerz, a solid shot on Raver, but a difficult 1v3 to win. PK, they take round 2.
Can we coin a different term in this situation, Guy? Because I find myself using the word death ball many times since I think 2 majors ago to describe, say, LATAM gameplay, especially PK, especially Rebel.
I like death ball.
In the past. But can we... This is just a different level of death ball from eUnited. It needs a different term. It needs like ultra death ball. It needs something. It needs like a nuke ball or something crazy. A wrecking ball even would be appropriate because eUnited just flies through the map without any pauses, and it's just unstoppable despite how predictable it is. Look at the speed. The downs come through immediately onto Identivez. Raver's a bit faster this time than eUnited. Admittedly, they do get across quicker. But eUnited all here. TJ, like I said, comes through the middle straight away from the outside component to influence that mid-fight. 3v2 scenario for them. Torque bow for Dezo to try and clutch up with.
No splash damage off that bow. He stays up. He'll hold this shot to the last second. Almost didn't be able to roll down the stairs. They're doing their best to find one kill to make this a 2v2. He has one bow to do it. Also, the drop shot is in play. That's an important angle. He hops the fence with an active in the chamber. They keep the shotties out. They're going to play for this down. They have the right hand advantage. Oh, but a flank from the middle. And that was a route well taken by TJ, I believe it was. Because he could have easily backed up towards his teammates. But instead, you know, he stayed behind his opponent. And that's exactly what they needed. 6 assists to his name so far. And eUnited, they get another one on the board. Identivez and Dezonide played that really well, though.
They did. They were fast. Raver was stupidly fast through the middle there. Seemed like PK were just trying to fight fire with fire, right? Go head to head, contain the speed, maintain it, and fly through at the same pace that United did. Now, what's the question in this situation? Do United and PK continue to butt heads? It looks like they do. Identivez was the first one to the pillar, but damage advantage to United. Dyslexic the first one to the staircase. TJ immediately pushing up on Fearzly.
Raver got his number.
If the up A comes through, 3v2, the down again will actually come through with Demise also onto Fearzly. Lovely job from him. Really that new core component, if you will, through the middle, I should say. 1v3. Dezo will fall. United respond in kind. 2 rounds in a row now, and it was again 2 rounds in a row, guy. Interestingly, PK the fastest one, the fastest team to that mid pillar.
They are, and you know, at the end of the day, Powerz and Demise, you know, the way that they're working together is very good. Demise does a good job, pre-fired his Lancer, making it difficult for PK to not take no damage off the start. I think on the outskirts, PK needs to just allow Fearzly to kind of play up more in that 1v1 spot.
Oh, they changed it, yeah.
Yeah, Dyslexic up there. Raver's outside. Big drop shot.
They have to be fast though, United. They really do, don't they? I mean, they got the taunt bow, but they've gone turtle mode, right? They haven't gone for the number situation that they'd have through the middle. Oh, it forces them out of cover though. That's good enough. Dyslexic will get down in the process. Raver as well, taunt bow in hand. 4v2 scenario now. And it's, again, it's kind of that back and forth. Do you turtle up and play for the taunt bow and go for those sticks? Or do you try and use the numbers advantage through the middle? For me, genuinely speaking, guy, I would prefer to get the numbers because it is a drop shot at the end of the day. I'd rather drop than a taunt bow, especially at this level where you make sure that, you know, you don't peek your head out to get stuck by one of the best players in the game in Powerz. Yeah. I think it's cost them there, actually.
And you know that if you are going to play for the drop that fast in the map, that you're going to sacrifice that bow. So the Knights, they're prepared for this type of situation. All they have to do is, you know, really stay behind cover, work their numbers. Yep, keep the intel coming. They're going to slowly get this pinch on eUnited. You also can just funnel them into the drop shot, but all they need is the Lancers on their back to win that round. PK get another on the board. But, you know, we'll see if they choose to go back to that strategy in round number 6. eUnited, they'll be ready for it, but the question is, after that, is how they're gonna counter it.
It's a good situation as well to break down because just simply having that one player of the drop sets that timer, right? It means eUnited have to do something and fast, regardless of what it is. If you don't, then you've just lost a drop shot for no reason. So for PK to pressure like that, which I think, yeah, they're going to do it again to that side. eUnited have to be quick through the middle. They realize it, and now they're really dialing in on their strategy, their go-to, their number situation. They're flying through, looking for that 1v in spawn. But look at that player. Number 2, Dezo is sprinting out the back. He is making sure he does not fall because PK's goal right now is to use that drop shot once more for a round victory. Only a taunt bow to eUnited's name again. For me, again, guy, I think this is advantage PK.
You've made such a great point there too as well, Toby, because the pressure of the drop, not only is it your opponent having 2 drop shots, it's the pressure that you have to make a play now. All right?
Yeah.
And you got to make a good one. You probably got to dodge a shot grenade, a few flashes, and you got to quickly be able to get that bow. But at the end of the day, what pressure, like the drop shot, it does so much for your squad to the point where, you know, your opponent is always going to be in a difficult spot if you have it. It's just a superior weapon. And for that alone, I don't see why squads isn't sending 2 over there every single round. You know what I'm saying? Why it's not an automatic pickup every round to play for it. Instead, we still see middle just heavily used. And I understand you have multiple plays from the mid-map in which you could utilize, but the end of the day,
you have to get something from it, though. Yeah, you have options, you have lanes to work with. But I think at this point in time, I do not want to see any United player chase down someone on Torpo lane because they will not allow it to happen. Dezo didn't there. He's not going to get caught out. He will make sure of it. He will run as early as possible. And so
it's easy to dodge bows too.
Flank round.
It's easy to dodge bows. You can't. Yeah, you can't hold those until the end of the round and expect to shoot 6 in a row in this type of situation. Because he connects on a beautiful one, but you have to deal with the drop. The first one is super high. It came from Narnia. It hit the top of the roof, but the out wide angle. PK set up for success. 3 in the hill. They tie it up 3-3. And that's the power of the drop shot. I think they're going to go every single round.
Even at the end there, Guy, you mentioned set up for success. They were, and it was because the drop shot essentially locked the remaining United players indoors. They had free roam of Ephyra. They could rotate around. That's Torpo wasn't scaring them. They knew exactly what Powerz was. Yes, he got a stick in the end, but boy, was it delayed.
And going back to the last point that we were making was
going to Lancer through the literally angle. I'm just pausing because I was watching the highlights. Excellently done from PK again. Yeah,
VMix, we cast on the delay, okay? We're both like in the future, all right? People don't know that all the time. But the thing is that even having that bow in hand in the late game, it's still easy to dodge that. Your opponent can just hold on to the drop to the final hill. But out wide, you saw a huge 1v1 being won by PK, but a more important one being won by Demise as he takes down Fearzly. He'll get the drop shot for his team. He's trying to regroup with the rest of the squad as they will make it a little bit closer towards their spawn. The bow in the hand of Dezonide. He's going to play this super wide and force eUnited into some difficult spots. And I think that's how you got to play it, because you want to take shots at the drop shot as far back as possible. And you want to force him to have to shoot some long-range drop shots such as that one. Ultimately, it was a great drop shot coming out of Demise as Identivez got taken out there. Power of the drop shot. We've been talking about it all day, and eUnited, they're utilizing it very well. Dezo, torque bow, headshot. We didn't see it, but in this situation, we saw them both taking a lot of damage on that cover, so he threaded the needle somewhere.
Good. eUnited clearly provide more resources this time round in the initial to the drop shot. That's why they've got it on their back. The number situation was a little bit better for them. Now a 2v2 scenario. Slow down Ephyra, and this is why I actually love this map, because you can have these slow moments, these closing moments with so many different variables at play. One drop shot remaining. Needs to make sure that's an active, of course, guy, and make sure he hits it, because that's the defining characteristic of the remaining seconds of this round.
The active is the most important part. This is winnable. Yeah, that's the drop shot for you right there. A beautiful high arc from him to be able to take down Dezonide. Not much he can do there. Now Raver in a 1v2, and he hasn't been able to get his health back in time to even contest. As eUnited going up 4-3. So if I think going into this round with the intel both teams have, you have to sit. It needs to be 2 off the rip to the drop. Bring that shock over if you need to. Try to angle them out. But if you give it up, it doesn't matter if you have the bow. It's a lot of composure. It's a lot of discipline in this lobby across all 8 players where they will wait out that clock until they get you in a perfect opportunity.
We're seeing the development of the meta, if you will, I think, for this map play out in front of our eyes.
And it started with us.
More and more attention will be, going towards the drop shot as time goes on. But Identivez flies through the middle, as I say, that finding Dyslexic and Demise, who has been having an absolute cracker of a game thus far. 4v2. Powerz on his own, quickly taken down. PK squared up 4-4. And honestly, it could have easily been 5-3 based on the clutches that eUnited have been able to pull out on some of these rounds, definitely leading to a round recovery here and there. 10-3, as I mentioned, for Demise. Have to point that out. He's having a really incredible game through the middle, despite the really issues caused by that drop shot, if you will. And like I said, the meta developing. It will be a huge variable going forward in this game, because both teams are fully aware in terms of which team, in terms of the advantage that drop shot can provide in this specific head-to-head.
And PK, they're going to give up to get the free drop shot. Dezonide gets out with his life. Oh, he wanted to fight that a little bit. He didn't get help in time.
Should he be, though? That's the question.
No, he shouldn't be. Yeah, he just needs to get back to his team.
There's an entire lane of players in front of him. Why is he hard holding on the left hand? Just run.
Yeah, he needs to stay alive in that situation. He tries to do too much, because if it was a 4v4 and they got the drop shot, they understand the trade-off. But, you know, the worst thing, what isn't the worst thing for the Knights is that eUnited, by them having that extra man up in that power weapon, they may be a little bit looser with their rotations, okay? And they know that they have to spread out anyway because you don't want to cluster up when your opponent has that drop. But eUnited, having that man advantage, they're going to be forced into that heal first at the end of the day. Ooh. Oh, that was wild.
Interesting. I'm not... Why go for that? It's such a distance. It's 3v4.
What kind
Just
of
wait
angle?
for United to come to you.
But he doesn't even have an angle to the corner. Like, does he not know how deep that corner is? That was silly.
Yeah, not ideal at all. This time around, because of Dezo losing out in the, you know, losing his life or in a situation he really shouldn't under any circumstances, it's now PK they've got have to go for desperate plays like that drop shot, like that 1v push from I believe Identivez on the left there.
You wait to the end of the round. You wait. That's what I don't get too as well is that why are we even popping off our drop shots and that last hill ain't even popped? You know what I'm saying? You got 2 drop shots and that last hill pop.
Yeah.
If you still got 2 drop shots, nobody even going towards the hill.
Players used to hold the boom shot constantly on Gears Esports just for the fact that they have it. You know?
Yeah.
That continual presence. 0 seconds. Overtime started. PK are close by. They might be able to sneak this, and they are going to, it seems like.
They are.
That round will come through. PK clutch up nonetheless due to literally some magic being performed on that overtime ring. But yeah, Guy, I mean, I think me and you are agreeing in terms of how that played out. PK don't have to clutch up in the end there. They absolutely have all the utility they need from the get-go because they essentially won the initial.
They did.
Won through strategy, didn't they?
They won it through strategy off the start, and they stayed calm because they had the power to drop shot in the end, and this is where they kind of really press up. Winning all the individual fights. After the drop shot came through, he had a 1v1 behind, and that was a 2v2 in the front. They played that very, very well there to come out on top. And so it's still a 1v1 out wide. Raver matched up against TJ. Demise in the middle matched up against Fearzly. It's Identivez getting first blood on Dyslexic. Powerz trying to press out against Dezonide on the other side of the map. Fearzly turns around. A solid shot off his left hand. Demise needs to make quick work of him, but Identivez will rotate down low to take down Powerz. Fearzly will finish his food with Demise. 4v1 situation. TJ, he's taken out. And the Pittsburgh Knights, they'll close out map number 2 in a 6-4 fashion after they came up with the winning strategy saying, you know what? The drop shot seems like it may be the best weapon in the game. Let's run with that one and see what happens. Fearzly, your match MVP as the Knights go up 2-0 in this series. But when we come back, we need to head on over towards Escalation. It's going to be your own training grounds. Can eUnited make the comeback? Don't go anywhere. We're about to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears Pro League. The Pittsburgh Knights have gotten off to a fierce start, 2-0 up against eUnited in this best of 5 series. But can eUnited become United and make the comeback? Well, it's going to have to start on Training Grounds Escalation, Toby. And I think me and you were saying in the beginning of the series, no matter how the first 2 maps trickle down, you know, map number 3 is going to be probably the most important one in this series regardless. And honestly, at this point, you know, we may say that in more series than not, just because the simple fact is that Escalation has been around, been one of the main staple game modes in Gears Esports over the last few years, where that teams who usually win that game mode can come away with the series.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge in this series, especially considering that United somehow lost a Ephyra execution. Still reeling over it myself, because that was insane. Insane to see play out. PK clutching up at the end there. And someone I have to mention, just as he comes on the screen, Demise was finished, I believe, 10-4 in the end, statistically 10-5 at most, right? And guess who he was fighting the majority of the time through the middle? Many times it was Identivez. Identivez somehow finished with 8 kills himself. Right? Identivez had a huge job on his hand to try and control that eUnited mid map, and he did it so well. If it wasn't for United clutching up, it could have been a 6-3, honestly, based on how PK played that. But let's talk about strategy. PK, I think at the end of the day, kind of started leaning out towards that drop shot a little bit earlier than United, and it kind of benefited them in the end. They were the little bit more proactive team strategically. They knew the opponent in front of them. They didn't. They absolutely showed them the respect they deserved.
They did.
And they got the drop shot early. They got some rounds off it. Then finally, United start sending 2 members out towards the end, the last round. And despite some mistakes, admittedly, that we were talking about with PK, fluffing some drop shots here and there, and Dezonide dying in a situation where he shouldn't, off the rip of the 4v4 with the drop on his team.
Yeah.
They still played a bit better as a team, it's safe to say. eUnited were unstoppable through the middle, oftentimes, and Demise's KD shows that, but it's the wider map that really matters when you play that many rounds out at this high level. PK showed that, and it's a really cool sight to see in many ways that eUnited did actually get taken out on Ephyra of all maps.
Yeah, it is. And, PK, they, rather than playing the normal meta of constantly sending 2 up mid and kind of playing down into that bowl, playing for that power weapon, he just says, hey, we're going to play our fights that we want to take. We're going to play a fight that you're not used to. And we'll just take this out wide, okay? And take that extra guy, get the power weapon, and just buy time, okay? Buy time for you guys to put yourself in a position where we can easily take you out with the drop shot. Or it's the most lethal weapon in the game, going to top every cover. And if it's inactive, you very rarely, if any, at this level, able to dodge that shell at the rate in which it drops. So, PK, they did a great job there, and ultimately, they should be feeling good being up 2-0 in this series. Now, eUnited on training grounds, we got to ask ourselves, where are they going to find the most success on this map? Is it going to be down low, playing for the whatever power weapon, if they want to put one at the underpass and cave? Is it going to be up top in the trenches at the overlook, playing at the U, and in that type of style situation? But the one thing is that eUnited has that they're going to need in this series, and I absolutely mean that they're going to need this. It's Demise's performance. Demise in that 1v1 position in that solo lane. All right, he keeps them alive so much, and he also takes over. And his performance coming off that execution, the way that he's playing now, I think he's going to build off on that. I think he is about to be playing at his peak level in this series, going into this map number 3. And he's going to win a lot of rounds for eUnited. And so as long as the rest of the core can start slaying out, Powerz looked like the best player in the game. As we call him a lot, gets back to that superstar level, and TJ and Dyslexic follow up, eUnited, they'll be good. All right, winning this map and going into, I think, what is it, District Control after this, or whatever my next control map is. But, this is still eUnited, and eUnited is still in the series.
They absolutely are. And they continue again on Ephyra to show that individual skill that we saw in Regency. But to talk about Regency a bit more, like on map 2, it just seems like PK are playing better as a team today, guy. I don't know what it is. Their strats are a bit more on point. They're not making as many silly mistakes, I want to say. Less, maybe they made more mistakes in Ephyra in some ways, but definitely not on Regency. They were way more clued in than eUnited on that map. And I think it's quite glaring to me now that PK are actually showing up better as a team than eUnited. eUnited just seem to be just turning up and just relying on their individual talent to fly through teams, and then, we have a numbers advantage, let's actually use that. It's kind of that kind of approach rather than a more sophisticated plan ahead. This is how we're going to beat the other team. If they do this, if they do that, we're going to do this, etc. Right? And I think that could be a really big tell here on Escalation of all modes. You said it earlier, right? Escalation tends to be a mode and a map that differentiates some of the top teams, and definitely the top teams from the weaker teams, as those top teams especially seem to be very good at Escalation and be the standout map. And I think as a result of that situation, the teamwork of PK might be even more glaringly obvious.
Also, too, like if you have a really dominating Escalation map and you're down 0-2 in a series, the foundations, because the foundation that you have to be a great Escalation team, you take that on over to Control, where you're able to quickly play off and win your initial set up, okay? Kind of play the game of rotations in a slower pace, but you bring that Escalation playstyle over to Control, it translates over perfectly, but it's not as chaotic as sometime a Control map can be, being the first map of the series, So, you could definitely a lot more warmed up going into that 4th Control map if you do make it that far. Now, eUnited, as they have the lead, they don't have, they got to be able to clear PK out of this God spot. God spot being where Raver is in that underpass. And the reason why we call it that is because you got to go super wide just to get this player out of this position and expose yourself. And as long as you have a player like Dezonide or even Fearzly in these high grounds, you have to clear them out first, and you allow Raver just to really do what he wants and clean up these kills and move around freely from these positions.
These are the troubling times for me for eUnited. They're better off on initials, they're better doing the chaos, I feel like, against PK, especially today. And PK have had that opportunity to slow it right down. Go back to the Lancers that we saw really coming into their own at times in the past, especially on Ephyra, even through the middle at times. eUnited have trouble there of all maps and situations to deal with. PK, again, they're going wide in Demise, not giving him the opportunity to go through those star-studded plays. They've got the overextension. I feel like PK might be able to even get out of this situation now, but they are surprisingly trying to commit to this.
If PK wins this round, I gotta call out that was the most disrespectful domination I've seen in a long time. But instead, they're gonna start paying for it a little bit. The reason why I said that is because you had Raver in Godspot. You had Dezonide right behind him at the short hop over. You had Fearzly in Heaven. And then you had Identivez, who was supposed to be playing a 1v1 spot at the home hill. But Identivez was in Overlook, saying, yo, I'm about to go win my fights. He shouldn't be fighting. Everybody has to play down into the hill. They should have held the 2-cap, but instead they were really cocky and said,
made it hard for themselves.
Yeah, they were cocky and they went to go play for the domination. You don't win a championship that way. So that's what I was gonna say. If you're gonna be cocky and that confident, win the round, and they will. But it got scary for him.
At the end.
Yeah, it got too hard for him. He should have never been in the overlook position at all during that round.
Why does it feel like deja vu, guy, from the moment when Dezonide actually lost his life in a 4v4 situation of Ephyra when they had the drop shot, right? At the start of the round.
Yep.
These are the kind of situations that we dial into. And, you know, we talked about that actually during the break off camera, right? The fact that at times pro players will actually lose their lives in situations they really shouldn't be, right? They should be playing it safer. They should be playing back to basic and playing your odds. And the odds right there are just to stay on map control and continue to dominate because there wasn't much time anyway.
Played objective.
Literally given opportunities to some of the fastest and highest skill team players in this game by going to the spawn and holding a 2v3 or 2v4 for that long. As soon as you see the 3 and your teammates aren't there, you know, because you have great comms as a professional team, run away. Why are we holding it?
Played objective, you know? Man. That's really, at the end of the day, played to the core of the strategy. Well, ultimately, you know, these players set their own strategy, regardless of what's the common meta. Raver gets to double down on Dyslexic. He's in a difficult spot. Raver, he's in a better as Dyslexic taken out there on his 3rd down and out. TJ goes to the respawn as well as Demise takes a lot of pressure. eForce back to the respawn. He's just waiting for his teammates to respawn. He pretty much just got a shorter respawn timer in that situation with how far back he was in on his side of the map. Now, PK, 2 hills to their name. Raver doing a great job playing his right. That's a good flash for him.
Oh, Raver full rad. eUnited with the flank. Oh, Raver just missing his shot there. Dyslexic, lovely wrap shot. eUnited, time to get back into the game, I feel like, for them. Not a great finish to Ephyra, admittedly, and not a great round 1. PK absolutely shut them out there, despite perhaps some mistakes we were talking about towards the end. 0-3 right now. This is the Mac, who was just on our screen. Powerz. And eUnited have now finally got back to perhaps a more strong position in this series. They've got the God spot location right, as Raver did before. They've got B hill control. The score will tick their way. They don't have the map control. Question is, can PK break them in this push?
Collapsing from 2 different lanes at the same time. PK put out damage quick enough to be able to clear that player off the neutral. And at this moment, all they have to do is all they need to do is play from a defensive position. And you kind of see Identivez disengage a little bit in that fight up top, knowing that he doesn't have to be aggressive anymore. That player's gonna have to play into his right hand as he's defending in that lane towards his home hill. At Godspot is Fearzly. He's gonna have support from Raver. They'll be a-okay. Dezonide in Heaven. Ooh, blindsided. Demise makes a play, finds an opening, but a down before he can get to him. It's a cross angle coming in from the overlook position. Identivez, will he make it in time? He misses the wrap shot. But it was Demise on his last down and out. Ultimately, eUnited will get 2 hills to their name, Toby. They have the win condition as well. Big 1v1 for Powerz.
Scrappy. Big 1v. Fearzly wins it, though.
decap. They got time. They don't need to rush it. They being PK, because they still have the lead. They just need a decap in the final few seconds. Dyslexic plays aggressive. He does not want to allow Fearzly into the hill. Great angle from Dyslexic and Demise. They hold it. And no one's going to touch this hill in the later round. Beautiful defense from him.
Oh, my goodness me. Scrappy and chaotic across the entire width of training grounds there. eUnited again. Back to the shotguns, right? To see them win out the rounds. And 0-4 right now, Powerz, surprisingly, while he handles that up top situation. I feel like a lot of the 1vs that should come about if we do continue to see a B-heavy game, right, Guy, should actually go eUnited's way in theory, right? That's kind of the situations they want, especially when they're losing the team situation as it currently stands. And I agree with an earlier point you made, in fact, for eUnited before this map even started, is that a strategy of placing a power weapon down bottom actually could be a really good approach if they continue to lose that slow game of playing up top or going for map control, going for B. And I'm just to force them into that shotgun battle through the center with minimal cover.
And I'm gonna tell you why, but remind me after this first initial, because this is about to get scrappy as the flash is tossed by Powerz as he stuns up on Fearzly. They'll recheck. No one's pressing just yet. But down low, player 5 and 3 get into the engagement, and that's TJ taking down Dezonide off his right hand. He's gonna start to press forward, doing a great job working this corner, but off his left hand, a difficult shot from Identivez and Fearzly. They're only able to get one. Ultimately, that's eUnited getting the team wipe, and now they're gonna put themselves in a position for a domination. Big 1v1 for Dezonide. He holds. He defends, but was it enough time? Yes, it was. These 3 spawn up simultaneously. And Dyslexic's gonna move back in. That's a great stun, but no kills confirmed. Still, a 3-man unit is the Knights. No kills confirmed on the side of eUnited. In PK, well, they did get one. And then eUnited gets another. Hold up, they don't have to really leave this position. They can keep the pressure. Yeah, TJ just needs to hold. He got a cross down towards mid-map.
Demise, a bit of an angle. TJ having to clutch up with a little bit of support. Still holding, surprisingly. Did get the kill, in fact. Excuse me, on Identivez. Bit of an angle continuing from Demise. Lovely roadieing in and out from TJ, ensuring he doesn't get gibbed in the process. I'm surprised, actually, United have been able to hold this close. PK, despite that unit behavior, right? Acting as a 3, a core push as a team. They're struggling right now to get back into this round. Look at the angles from up top now, finally coming through from Dyslexic. Demise is here, finalizing the kill. Raver out in the middle of no man's land as soon as he moves from this cover. Not able to break it there.
Man.
eUnited do lock in the triple cap.
Great round there by eUnited, okay? And it took your 1v1 champion in the world of TJ to press out wide there and win a big 1v1 up against Dezonide to be able to open it up for his team and get them in that position. Because as we go back, I was going to talk about, as you were talking about power weapons mid-map, I think that a fight like that benefits eUnited just because when it comes down to a lot of flashes of smoke, where you have to be quick off that front spawn. When we talk about a skill set of a front spawn player, be able to get in, get a power weapon, dodge multiple flashes, and come away with kills, I think eUnited's front spawn core of TJ and Powerz does that better than most, and that's where they can succeed up against PK, who I feel like only Raver can do that role, right? Now, on the flip side, if you don't do that, you're putting Powerz in this like kind of 1v1 position against Identivez on the other side of the map, and I think Identivez, he knows how to take down a player like Powerz in a 1v1, okay? Especially when he's playing it slow. And I don't know if that's a matchup that eUnited wants. I know PK, they're happy with it. Now, up top, you see the double downs. TJ cleaned up, Raver cleaned up, 3v3 on the map. Powerz crossed out, and PK, they're going to start rushing towards the home hill of eUnited. But are they going to even play for B? Yeah, no, they double back for the home hill setup. I like that from them.
Nice done. Are PK going to hold this time, though? Yes, they have the numbers to do it. And absolutely, they will be holding. They have to be absolutely cognizant, though, of the flank. from the eUnited players. They love to pull off those. That's TJ trying to execute on that right now.
Oh, he's doing a good job.
For them. They need to be quick, though. PK know it's coming. They're pushing straight through to find the kills, and then we'll turn around as a unit. TJ
oh, he dropped it!
The angles are coming through for Demise, but it's not enough. PK do hold on. A story for me, again, is just the number situation. PK always have the advantage there. eUnited tried to do the similar thing in the last round, guy, but they're just outnumbered 2v3 time and time again. And I don't know why they just keep relying on their individual skill in that sense.
Now, as they are a 3-man unit, they should have no issues getting their home hill back. They got to make quick work of Dezonide, as they will. Raver oversteps a little bit, almost paid for forcing his teammate out into the open, having to revive him. But instead, both players can hold that checkpoint in a 2v3 with ease, based off their positioning of a little bit of high ground, a little bit of depth with that Lancer. They'll be okay. And eUnited knows it. They've already spread the map out. And they know that let's not do too much. We're a few points away from having the lead. As soon as we get the lead, we'll show, we'll show the Knights how to properly play this position when you have the 2-to-1 hill setup, because we did give PK a lot of criticism. And I think eUnited, as they have already kind of split up into a 2-2, they actually kind of give more aggression towards the opposite end of the map more than anything. Demise is going hunting. So they still play for a little bit more, just like the Knights did. They pay for it a little bit early. Dyslexic comes away with one, and he absolutely needed to. Not allowing that revive to come through. He plays off his right, but a quick hop and a quick decision made by Identivez is going to play his right. Ring around a Rosie. Who's get the advantage? Who's going to get it? And Identivez will save his teammate as he locks in the B hill. The Swarm team has the win condition. They can't allow a break, but it's gonna be Demise. No, hill got decapped. The Swarm team still has it. They're gonna walk away with this round, Toby.
Yeah, they are. It's so close, though. I mean, that was just nail-bitingly close, wasn't it? 1 second, it will be locked in. These rounds can be honestly infuriating at times with how close it is, right? So much frustrating for both teams, so much effort's going into it. Even Identivez going just down to the minutia, right, of things. His hard aim just holding as Demise and others came straight at him. The confidence while his teammate is just down by him on such a crucial situation. Exquisite. Amazing to see. Despite all the pressure that's being piled onto him and PK, they seem to be locked in and absolutely loaded for eUnited here. 2-2 the score. And I'm still looking out for that weapon placement. I'm still looking for that guy. We talked about it beforehand. It still seems to be a very important point to mention as we go through each of these rounds.
Yeah.
And it is back and forth in terms of who's going for those triple caps in the end. PK, I don't know if you agree with me, guy, but they still seem quite a bit tighter, and it's more the eUnited individual skill that can eke them out of these situations. Yeah, when PK, when they get that first kill, it's very rarely they're going to allow you to catch them off in another 1v1. If you do, the other three are packed up together somewhere on a map, just bullying people out for position. Big kills coming out from Demise and Dezonide to trade out. TJ gets eUnited up with a man advantage. Powerz cleaned up. It's a 2v2 on the map. The bolt talk in the hand of Raver. He actually goes for the high ground. Identivez getting taken out. That was a big shot from Raver to just kind of slow down any aggression that may have came. He's looking for the player in the hill, but now he plays up on his right. 2 body shots. He gets a third. That's a down and a flash. Ooh, Dyslexic. The shot off the left. It came out so quick. If it was a second later, both players from eUnited will be dead at top overlook. Instead, he flashes himself. It would have been a great bounce for him to be able to take over that fight and allow his teammate to press out wide. But now he has to fully kind of rely on Demise to make that play quick enough. But instead, it's TJ finding that kill on Fearzly. eUnited has the numbers on this side of the map. No issues cleaning up. But what does the Knights do, right? They're looking for numbers elsewhere. They find a 2v1, but with Identivez going down, that kind of slowed down the push. Identivez on his last down. The focus is here from Powerz. He knows it. Easy fight from them. You know, just those extra seconds of Dezonide having to back up for that revive, the window was gone. Okay, for the play to be made. Yeah, totally agreed. Especially in the up top fight as well from eUnited. That was stunning timing from them. And full composure, full respect shown to PK. And now they have a significant score lead. PK really have to pull it out the bag. And every round counts at this point, guys, given how close it is as we go into the second half. Great shots from Powerz. PK all together as one unit once more. But they need to go through the entire map. The domination blinking for a moment. PK need kills more than anything else right now.
Yeah, they need to
find it.
They lost the 1v1 at E. eUnited is going to walk away with this round, and from here they're going to start
those kills.
Yeah, they did.
You need those kills at the end of the day, right, guy? If you're going to get to the objectives and map control, you have to get those kills, and that is certainly what eUnited were managing so well there. From the moment that Identivez essentially got taken out by TJ. I thought Identivez was concrete in his brick wall, right? He was not moving from that spot, but TJ somehow found a kill, and it was from that individual skill then eUnited were able to leverage all the potential teamwork and the clinical nature of how they operate. Identivez. I do wonder if it's PK who are going to place the first major weapon down on TG.
This is the point you have to do it. You can't really go tit for tat on another round. You know, the team that won round one is always going to kind of have the confidence, the mental confidence, and that's just super important because you never feel like you're down. So it's like, why am I going to put the power weapon down? You know what I'm saying? So that first round on that scale is great. And so PK putting that power weapon down now is probably the best thing that they could have did and not allow this one to drag out. They choose their fate, and they'll walk away with a first blood on TJ. Dezonide goes down, not revived just yet, as TJ wasn't even cleaned up at all. It's eUnited with the advantage on the map. Dezonide finally cleaned up, and Fearzly tried to make something happen, but instead, eUnited is about to start thriving.
It seems it might be that way. Lovely pinch from eUnited. I genuinely thought PK would be coming away with that initial victory. Based on the kill feed alone.
We talked about it. We said that those fights are going to be better for eUnited, right?
Like, yeah, and it seemed to be playing out that way, guy. But unfortunately, no. PK did in many ways, or rather, eUnited did actually start clutching up in a massive way there. Now they have map control. They didn't throw any more lives away. They found Fearzly, I believe, stuck in the middle of no man's land. So they can start setting up in the way that PK did in the first two rounds, especially of training grounds. They can start slowing it down and make sure that they get the round opportunities that they create for themselves.
Now the Knights creating an opportunity at the overlook to try to break through this eUnited defense. Demise, he's going to back up and allow these players to come through. He's getting tagged up across map by Dezonide. Dezo knows he has to turn around quickly and fight the 1v1, but he did put out enough damage on Demise. Raver gets into the mix. Dezonide loses his 1v1, and here comes Powerz on the flank. A big 1v1. He gets them both. This is an eUnited round.
Huge. Absolutely huge. Meanwhile, TJ, of course, making the triple cap possible elsewhere across training grounds. Fantastic push. And you know, you might have been wondering, PK had the numbers advantage right there up top for a while. They had 3v2 when they finally got up there. And that's why Demise was getting back so quickly. They knew exactly what the whole team were trying to play for there. And it made total sense despite the fantastic angle and Demise, despite the push up top in the end. It was eUnited doing everything else on the rest of TG there. Well played. Excellently executed was that. And now they're one round away.
Nades up top. That's the only way you can make this comeback. You can't go down low. You have to do frags up top. Because you got to thin them out.
He places nades.
No, it is going to be nades because you can't fight down low at the shot grenade. You have to negate whatever advantage they think that they got over the last two rounds. It's something, right? Boom, do M-bar. But you have to create a fight, even better. And so
I agree with you. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I was just going to be blown away if you actually predicted nades and they place nades, because you don't see them often, do you?
No, you don't.
Place frag grenades, especially up top. So, yeah, no, you and me both.
I was on the lesser side of it. I'm like, take the less lethal option, right? You know,
yeah,
but they said if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. You know, put an M-bar on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Identivez is the one placing that, getting that new M-bar. It kind of makes sense, actually, when you think about it. Identivez is an excellent M-bar player, you know.
I love it.
He's had some excellent moments on Regency, as an example, with that specific weapon. And he just wants it back in his hands. And yeah,
I love eUnited in a fight here as well. You know, they say we'll get the bow and back up. Like, we'll get this and just drop back and hold the 2 cap and force you to have to still play into us, and that way we get to play our lead and keep the pressure on you guys. And so eUnited, a great start. A beautiful bow from Powerz, but not before Identivez is able to get the headshot, which is insane. I don't know who made the better play. I think Identivez under the most pressure, but it's a 3v3 on the map as you got eUnited trying to do their best to defend their home hill. Fearzly with a little shot through the crack. He gets taken out by TJ as TJ has pressure to his back. It's up against Raver as he'll come out on top. PK, they find a heal at F. Ultimately, eUnited, they are able to drop back towards E. Now, this is where the Knights have to be quick. They need to get a player up top. Here's a quick revive. Oh, another double back for a revive. The chain is there and help in time. No kills acquired by eUnited.
Great shock. Absolutely, PK. They have 4 players up here, guy. They have to fully commit, essentially, to what they're doing right now. Otherwise, they're going to lose all the hills.
Yeah.
You see already United rotating for that triple cap. They have the call. They know exactly what's going on. PK have to push in on the E hill. Force down this funnel. They have the numbers, so it should go their way.
They got to spray it now.
Difficult, but made for them, absolutely.
Split up into a 2-2.
Is dire.
Yep, they send 3 players back to their home hill. And they're going to send 1 to D. You have to win this home hill fight now and get a Lancer up to help out Dezonide across the map if you want to have the perfect strategy. But as I'm talking about perfect strategies, Dyslexic won a huge 1v1 to get to E. And that fight alone... Oh, all 1v1s won on the other side. There's still time to get over to take care of Dyslexic at E. Player 6, you got it in you. A pistol's out. Fearzly moves in. Dyslexic wants hands as he wins a big 1v1 for his team. And that's going to do it. He won 3 in a row for him. eUnited, they take the map.
There you have it. It was a difficult start for them against PK, but they sped up towards the closing moments, if you will, 5, 6, and 7 in terms of rounds. And they come through with their usual gameplay. Fantastic stuff. Identivez getting the M bar in the end, but it wasn't enough. Instantly getting stuck as well by the eUnited players. They have power weapon players on their side too, guy. Fantastic showing from eUnited to come back there in this series and put their first map on the board, surprisingly, despite how close it's been since the get-go, honestly. Thoroughly impressed, I must say.
I am as well, man. That was a scrappy last few rounds, and, you know, huge shout out to Dyslexic, okay, the MVP there for eUnited, as he won so many crucial 1v1s at the end just to kind of keep him alive in that round and close it out. Yeah, they had some more rounds to work with at the end, but hey, those last 3, he had such an impact from his position. It made it that much easier for his teammates to be able to do their jobs and for eUnited as a whole to close out that map. Now, eUnited, well, you know, we're going to have to head into map number 4 soon, but the one thing that we were talking about is why Escalation is kind of so important in this series. I feel like just because the fact is that from, you know, playing off your initial objectives on the center line, winning that, and then rotation from hill to hill to objective to those 2 cap setups, it translates on over towards control, right? And eUnited, they're vibing right now. They got their confidence back. I think this next control map is going to be a lot easier and a lot less chaotic than that first one was.
Yeah, you'd hope so, absolutely. Surprisingly, Regency was quite chaotic, and it's the one map you'd think would not be chaotic in control, given how it's played out, right?
It becomes chaotic when you have a 100-point lead and lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is as well, I think that's the storyline we were going into around TG, is that PK seemed like the better team cohesively. They were working together with more strategy being employed on Ephyra, on control. They were always playing the numbers situation better and not making mistakes in that department. But it's surprising because in the end, it was actually eUnited's individual skill that does trump a lot of that here on Training Grounds. They do lock in on that second half of TG. They make sure that the team fights that they're presented with, that they have advantages in, they don't throw away those silly deaths. You know, they do keep their distance. They do make sure they capitalize on their opportunities. And that's resulted in the 5-2 count we now see on our screen. Now, question is, do eUnited continue with that kind of form of trying to slow it down on those correct moments? Or do they play their usual selves? Do they carry on making it chaotic? Do they try to fly at every 1v that they possibly can on District? This is one of the maps you can actually do that and find more success, guy. Mm-hmm. You know, jumping into juice or info as fast as you can. Very possible. absolutely when you have the likes of Powerz, TJ, who are both playing pretty well today. Powerz not out of his mind, don't get me wrong, but still playing pretty well. And also Dyslexic and Demise having two fantastic maps, trading who's going to finish MVP for their team, both on Ephyra and TG. So they're all there. It's absolutely capable individually. We were saying it from the very start. Their skill is there. They just need their teamwork to be, just as we saw on TG. Let's hope they keep it up.
Let's hope they keep it up, and I think they can on District Control. You nailed a lot of great points, and I think this is a good map for eUnited. When I saw District Control and I saw Checkout once again at the back end of this map cycle, I'm like, the reverse sweep is possible. It's definitely doable. And then the way that eUnited won Training Grounds, I think that they can lock it in. So we'll see if it happens. But what's going to be super strong, okay? What's going to be the key trait that PK has going up into this map, and we've talked about it, and we've actually coined it either the death ball or the wrecking ball. But when PK needs to make these comebacks, when they start having to be aggressive, they're always in packs of twos, packs of threes, and sometimes packs of fours. And packs of fours on District, it's really a hard thing to fight up against, just because it's close quarters. All right, it's close quarter battles. A lot of them, whether if it's at the bandstand or the cinema, and then typically it's always a juice angles in there somewhere. So you may see more threes, but nonetheless, I think PK is very good on this District Control. And if they get themselves up, if they get up in the score and they're confident, I don't see them kind of really blowing that lead. eUnited, they got to get up to start.
Yeah, I totally agree, and well said. It's kind of that death ball versus what is the potential individual talent of eUnited to break that death ball up before it even forms.
Yeah.
But if it does form, historically throughout the series, PK have dominated, in many of those team fights that do ensue following. But I really do want to see United leverage that capability of going into juice and info to climb up during transitions between, hills to break up that PK form, because they are locked in there. You totally expect PK to leverage the shot grenade on those corner hills and the staircase to make sure United can't block the score, the points, because PK rotate early. You expect them to use any utility to a really great state, right? To influence those team fights and be locked in and be in the right position at all times. I don't want to see United players necessarily going completely off on a tangent, running around the map, seeking those, 1v1s at all costs, just because they are that confident themselves. But, kind of still see what they can do, if you will, especially through juice and info, just because you can rotate off, get the angles from there somewhere, even if you're caught off, in a bad timing during a rotation. Certainly more feasible, that eUnited kind of play style on District.
Yeah, I agree with that. eUnited, for me, is the better early game team. Okay, I like eUnited in initials. I like them to really start, getting streaky off the start. They wouldn't initial, for the most part. They win that fight. They set themselves up for success in the second hill, and they get them off to a lead right there, right? PK, I like them in the mid game a little bit more. For eUnited to be successful, when they get that lead, from there, if they're able to rotate early, get those Lancers up, get in position, hey, they love when PK group together, because they get to just focus their Lancers in the choke points of Pergola, of ATM, go plant themselves, anchor themselves in juice and info, and then shoot down at the hotel or shoot down at the arcade and into the bandstand. Like eUnited, they have the setups. They know how to counter PK on this map. They know how to counter that wrecking ball, death ball, wolf pack that we know them for, that aggression that we know the Knights for. But I think what's super important, all of that coming to fruition for eUnited, is them winning the initial, and I do think they're a better team in this initial. So, hey,
I think it's a great
see
point.
How it plays out.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And I think what's the core of that initial and that spark, and that leads to dominating throughout the early stages, is just the staggering. I think as soon as you win an initial or a team fight as a United, the goal for them is to stagger the remaining players as they come off respawn. They want to fly through the map. They want to go through the closest, fastest routes, like Juice and Info, like through even Cinema, and often to the corner hills, especially. They want to continue to stagger teams. They don't want to be setting up too fast, because they know they have the capability to do that, and literally spawn trap teams as a result. Spawn trap them in control. Unbelievable to even utter those words at this level, but they are capable of doing that well into the enemy third, well past where the ring might be. So they can do that, they will be off to a really good start here after a fantastic training grounds.
Here we go. Map number 4. Identivez with the drop shot in hand to kick this one off. Dezonide with first blood. And you're going to start seeing some long-range shots coming in for PK. But Fearzly and Raver, they find kills. Identivez loses the drop shot. I don't know if he was able to waste it, if he backpacked it. Definitely backpacked it because we saw a shotty out. And in the end, PK off to a hot start in this hill, but eUnited, they're still in striking distance. They haven't given up all the room, keeping a foot close by. TJ will be joined by his duo on Demise. They're both taken down. Powerz is going to join them, the trio together. They're going to be together on their knees as PK takes all 3 out. Dyslexic has the pergola spawn. Oh, he gives up his position, but he was being hunted, and he felt that. In the end, he gets angled out by 2.
Felt it in his veins, I think. That's why he shot so early. Safe to say that PK had the better initial. Speaking of the initial, right? They not only got through and found those kills in the majority of the points on the hill, but they also picked up the drop shot, you know? Backpacked or not, eUnited had nothing on that entire map there at the start. They have no points to work with. They have to now tackle PK right in front of them. As we go to that staircase where a shot grenade might be used at some point to launch the other team off their point in order to capture. Look what Raver's doing though, sneaking all the way to what could
be this little corner.
The next hill, but it's 70 seconds in advance.
He saw him though.
He knows there's a presence elsewhere across the way, and the other hill is likely to be blocked for a huge amount of those points.
He has some good eyes. He being dyslexic, he saw the tip of that gun slide over. Raver gets a little bit of damage in, but he backs up a bit. Doesn't have his help. He didn't see him cut up towards the top of the corner. Great play from Dyslexic to be able to find an opening for his team as they press towards mid-map. Almost had great timing for the drop shot. Instead, Identivez has great timing on his flanks. He holds his shot. What a beautiful hold that was.
So good at that guy. I see that time and time again now.
I wonder where he learned that.
It just speaks volumes. The confidence of him to make sure that he's gone with the right decision right till the bitter end, and he will fall if it's incorrect. Time and time again. It's so impressive. Really speaks to his mentality. Love to see it.
He gets some damage across map.
Shot again. But Raver called out that there's 2 players of eUnited across the way, and as a result, the rest of his team, Identivez and co, fly through, get the majority of the points on that hill, and the drop shot going to this next one.
Now, Dezo, he realized that he was in the hill a little bit too early because he didn't have the help from his teammates. That drop shot comes up a little bit short. It hit the windowsill rather than falling over into the floor, which most definitely would have confirmed the kill. Instead, it's going to be PK finally realizing that they do got to slow down, and when they're going to slow down, they're going to just say, hey, well, let's take the wide angles. The players that are alive go to the widest portion of the map, contest there, and then the respawn players are going to fill in the gaps in the other lanes. And so now PK using all that time of old to set themselves up in a position. So far, they've only given up 2 points, even though eUnited has won probably the last 2 team fights. They haven't been able to get much from it. Multiple flashes, and eUnited, they fight their way out. They say, we want a little bit of terrain. We don't want to give them the fight in which they want, and that was a brilliant move from eUnited, I gotta say.
It was. Powerz just on cleanup duty as he goes through the front of the door. Difficult situation, you know, they were handed, that's for sure. And now, finally getting like a huge amount of points, you know, in quick succession on the border, eUnited.
Drop in shock 20.
Are they going to go for this? The 40 seconds left. They've got to travel across the map. If they can get the drop, they certainly will look for that. But eUnited, finally on the board, I want to say. They've finally got that presence on the map to get themselves in, you know, closing moments, I guess. Closing gap of the points of PK.
A missed stun from Raver, actually. He gets away from that fight knowing that it's not a good one for him to take. But he was a distraction long enough. He still wins the battle, and his teammates will get the drop shot. This hill will go down low towards Bandstand. PK doing a great job at taking fights in low cover so that they can clean up these kills with the wide angles. On a wide cover.
Identivez as well has got the 3rd drop shot of the game 3 times in a row, literally.
He's tracking
just getting his first kill of the game, but it shows PK are absolutely managing the drop shot better than eUnited currently. And it certainly is helping them, because at least it doesn't mean eUnited are getting it themselves. Drop onto Dyslexic is spot on. Isn't able to turn around in time though as Demise comes in with a pinch. Shot grenade thrown out for Raver, which will catch Powerz for a second, but no more. Dezo's stuck in the corner. And now he's trying to go wide on him, and he will find that as well. eUnited, a great start. A good team fight into this next hill.
Raver
try and set up and buy some time for the remaining team.
Raver got caught slipping in that bandstand because he allowed Identivez to get flanked, and then he was still late on his flash, and he didn't have intel on the second guy, so I don't know what he was watching when he was in that bandstand the whole time, but eUnited, they capitalize. They'll get the first lead of this map, and now we'll see how that changes up their gameplay, if they can take a sigh of relief and see if these team fights become a little bit easier for them. Yeah, right, maybe. Or it's going to be Identivez that gets it 4 times in a row. We're about to find out.
I mean, wouldn't be surprised at this point, guy. It really has been that consistent. The same player getting it each time because PK literally set up around it. And Identivez calls. Danny calls, hey, let me have it. I'll take it. I'll be there ready to get these shots off. Speak of the devil, going for the flank right now on Powerz. Spots him and rolls back instantly. Not to give Powerz too much of a damage advantage going into the next fight. But it is all about that next hill. PK have poised themselves for it, guy. They're all across. Powerz jumping into green, catching them by surprise. But hey,
it was timed.
Out of there. Absolutely outside of shotgun range as soon as they can. But TJ with the drop shot finally. Is he going to fire? He has not the X-ray vision that we have as casters, but he absolutely needs those kills.
Ooh! Fearzly went for it.
Later, mind you,
he backs up.
He's going to do it.
Hey, that's a great move from TJ. He stays composed to give his team another opportunity with this drop shot, and he's not being hunted whatsoever.
Nice movement, has to be said. Good shots from Powerz, but no, he will fall. TJ is 0-5 currently with 5 assists. There's the drop shot onto the meat shield. Won't connect, but again, this is a situation where it's unlikely to lead to much points right up in the juice area of district here. And I guess it's an argument right to be made on TJ's discretion with the drop shot usage on the hill. If you're going to go for that as a team, all 4 there, fire at it as soon as you can if you can secure the kill.
Yeah.
If you wait for your 2 teammates to die, then yes, absolutely the correct decision is to back up, but
he second-guessed it.
Anyway? Yeah, when gone for it at least?
Before his teammates even broke the plane of the door, he saw a player in front of him in that very first cover. He could have put it over that dip at the bottom of the stairs and possibly got 1 or 2, you know? How much of that intel does he know? I don't know, but he'll definitely get the intel that no one's there. Let's push in, right? It's cleared. You can at least give your teammates some space for all 3 of you to move in as a unit. Nonetheless, I digress as we're fighting at ATM now, and TJ able to win that battle. Fearzly, Dyslexic, and Identivez all taken out. Raver, the sole man standing as we're at a new hill. eUnited in a beautiful position. They got 2 players down low towards Hotel. They got 1 up top in Info, and 1 on the opposite end of the map playing a solo lane at Cinema.
Oh, they're stretched. Yeah, they love these kind of positions, right? This is what I was talking about. Trying to going for literal spawn traps and control and map domination, not just a pure setup as you're used to seeing in the strongest positions right close to a hill. And this is a demonstration of that. Dyslexic has been caught out at Cinema as a result. They haven't been able to hold on to drop shot because they are spread so thin. They just simply haven't got enough guns at the right location of the map. And as a result, PK, they storm on through. They get the remaining points. They get the drop shot. They get the kills, and they're also staggering eUnited right now inside blue. TJ somehow gets a kill on Raver, but PK have quite a bit of control now going to this next hill, you want to say?
Yeah, they definitely do. I think where eUnited messed up, I don't know who it was, but when they had 2 players down low at a hotel and that drop shot was coming up, rather than rotating back to Info, they should have pushed into bandstand and just kept that angle, especially with them having a player across the Cinema. That probably would have been the best to defend against that drop shot. Hindsight is 20/20, and as casters, we can always have hindsight, not so much for the players.
Benefit of that.
Right? Now, Dezonide on his flank, beautiful angle from him. Both players are on their feet, and there's a third coming in to take down a Dezonide, but a save from Identivez. The angle's up, pistol's up, trigger's down, but it's eUnited who's winning that fight now as they back down. They'll still hold the angle. It's the Knights with the lead. 47 points remaining. Here's our next engagement, Toby.
Here it is. Dezo down. Raver down. Fearzly following too. 40 seconds on this hill. Still quite a significant amount of points, it must be said, and a nice little route to the next hill, importantly too, guys. So honestly, this could actually route into a nice exchange if they can find those kills. PK, unfortunately for United, have the best spawn for the next hill right in front of them. But Dyslexic holds on true, finds two, looking for the third. Not much damage his way, but Dezo does find the give to finally slow him down. Demise trying to seek revenge. Neither player hitting a shot so far. Demise does land the last two, though. And PK sneaks some points at the end on the last hill again, just as they did in the previous one, surprisingly. But everyone is focused on this drop shot. It's unsurprising why, in terms of how District started, Guy. Drop shot 3 times in a row for Identivez eUnited. Not finding great utility of it, or from it. And here, literally the scrappy fights.
This is
District as we go into the next hill.
It's a 3-point differential in the score, with the Knights having the lead. As we rotate on over towards Arcade, another drop shot in the hands of PK. I think that's 5-2 for him throughout the entirety of this map so far. Fearzly trapped in the corner. He'll backpack the drop as eUnited collapse on the remaining Knights. They put him in a cage. It's like they're playing a game here, right? They're locking in Arcade. They got the lead. Now, with them having bandstand, they got the shock in hand. They'll play the low angle, right? You're going to have to sacrifice Demise, and he'll go deep towards the spine.
Yes, absolutely.
I love this.
Is what you want to see from eUnited, right? The full respect coming out
he wants,
for the occasion.
He wants them to know that he's there. He wants them to know that he's there.
Great shock as well. Yeah, absolutely. Now they're finally turning around. Fearzly has gone wide and handled that situation quite well, but it has bought time, if nothing else, Guy, for PK. Rather for eUnited to get the remaining points on this one. The battle for the drop shot and the rotation continues, though. Dezo finds his 1v. PK, really, what a sleek move straight into that remaining points of the hill as they find all those kills right at the front. eUnited rotating early for the next one. Straight across, and PK trying to find it. Dezo, lots of damage his way. Good shot from Dyslexic, but can they clean up?
TJ cleans up Dezonide. A decent shot on Identivez, enough to force him to have to run away. It's going to be the Knights who have to be able to force their way up through Hotel. As eUnited, they have the setup. They're comfortable where they are, defending ATL. Powerz, will he make it out with his life? TJ steps out just in case, being there for his brother. Didn't want to have any excuses right there. He knew he was in a difficult spot. eUnited down one after another. The smokes come through. They move in. The wolf. Double down. The Knights, they get their meal, but no! eUnited, the last stand. Fearzly not there in time. He has a double meat shield battle to fight up against. Instead, he's trapped in a corner. He makes it a 1v1. A cleanup. A shot. Fearzly goes huge in a 1v2 situation. The drop shot coming in. It misses. And now Demise. He'll separate him for a bit, but now he's spread out, trapped in the middle of a Lancer cross. And PK, my God. Huge situation playing out for Fearzly there. 1v2 for the ages as the drop shot was looming, and it did miss in the end too. Identivez this year, Fearzly again getting onto that kill feed, and eUnited have been pushed out. Their individual skill is not working out for them anymore as PK's teamwork continues to shine through. Identivez hunting, chasing down whenever he can. And it's clear as day, right, for PK, for me, especially in Identivez, that they're just so into themselves right now. They're in the zone, if you will. Absolutely in the zone. Like, and Identivez is playing fast, he's snappy, he's locking onto targets instantly, regardless of whatever weapon he has out. And they have a bit of a score lead now against eUnited with the potential to 3-1 them in this series. Oh, Chad, I don't know who's going to win this map, but it's been a great series thus far. I'm going to need you to cheer for your favorite squad, who you want to win. Send them your energy as we see eUnited picking up multiple kills here towards mid-map, 2 to be exact. The last duo of PK trying to work their way through the arcade. Powerz holding his ground, knowing that help is coming, forcing a revive train out of PK. Put him in the cage once again. eUnited still does not have the lead. This is where the Knights are going to start to slow down, Toby. They take a wide angle across the map towards Cinema. I think Dezonide is going to start working his way towards Pergola. He assesses that at least I got one. And with him making it into the spawn, he gives his team a lot of map control, a lot of intel.
But saying that, we have to mention it. eUnited absolutely can win off this hill. So PK, time is not on their side. Eventually, they do need to push in. Here is their first push onto Demise, who is on his own, completely on his own, might I add, as Dyslexic is nowhere near by and is not near the hill for the rest of the players. PK outnumbering again on the hill. We've seen it before, and they're trying to do it again. Fearzly finds the first.
TJ goes huge.
The clutch up. He has got a bit of regrouping, though, behind him. 2 members down. They just...
What?
Identiv trying to clutch up himself. Fantastic up A.
Demise.
15 seconds left for eUnited to close this one out. The drop shot from nowhere in the midst of the battlefield.
They can't win off of this.
Left.
PK got the spawn, though. PK got the spawn. As they're going to get the Lancer angle, Dyslexic can't get caught out, but Raver goes wide. Raver needs to continue to go wide, but he's actually going to hold his ground. They'll collect on the time. Dezonide galloping over here towards the hill as he's going to be able to plant his feet. The shock out wide. Raver playing off his left. It's a lot of open angles, and it's a flank coming in from Identivez. It leads to a chain reaction of multiple eUnited players going down. 10 more seconds needed, and it is a journey for eUnited to have to make it across the map. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the Knights take the series in a 3-1 fashion.
After all that effort, the closing moments of eUnited pulling things out of the bag you didn't think were possible, they find the ending that they wanted. Do PK with a lot of heart, a lot of composure. Oh my, that's got to hurt if you're an eUnited fan. That is for certain. Especially on that last the closing moments, guy. United did so much to come back into that game, but sadly it was not enough.
It wasn't, and it was Dezonide and Raver who rotated early enough to put themselves in position at Pergola. Even though they were down by about 30 points, that's how many points you get from winning a team fight. Okay, as long as your opponent can't win off the remaining points that's left, and I think it was maybe Identivez or Fearzly that was in bandstand fighting that with the drop shot. Maybe Identivez, but whoever that
Fearzly, yeah,
it was Fearzly, yeah, right.
Now.
He cleans up the drop. He stays alive for a little bit. 2 players have to clear him out, and they just couldn't do it in time. And so you see the Knights coming out on top. But just like the first series, don't worry, we got treats for days and another gift for you. We're headed over to a Game 5. Is Rise versus Fury 1. And I didn't see this one happening, folks, but what a blessing. Toby? What is this, Gears UE? With Toby and God Blaze? Is that type of day today?
Crazy, brother. We love the executions, me and you, and I'm glad we're being blessed with these map 5s on said mode. Check out Gears 3 map. Back into the action 3v1. Yeah, he will fall, will Toti. I'm surprised, guy. I really am with a lot of these top teams because they've been taken to map number 5s time and time again in this Pro League so far. It was KCP actually that went to map 5 first of all against an underdog. I'm trying to remember which team that was. It might have even been Fury 1, and that's what I'm really would like to know right now. Or was it Casa?
With Chaos, I was going to say maybe it was the Chaos team, because I know they beat them too as well.
It was probably either one of those two, because they have been the underdogs that have been causing the upset so far. And now Rise are on map 5 against Fury 1. It's a staggering thing to see, and I'm curious now to see who actually comes out on top.
Now, it's Rushies in a big 1v1 against Jolly. He gets some damage on him. It's still 4v4 on the map as both of those players are fighting for the frag grenades. Detox. He can hop this plat. I don't know if he has a flash from his teammate. Let me see. They don't get. Yeah, he's gonna need it from Enzo. They get that flash in the corner. Somebody can hop up there for those incendiaries and get out to safety. But I think, yeah, that's a flash in Enzum's hand. Enzum is number 1. Enzum, he in that back lane, but he's holding it. That's a beautiful angle from the back lane to the inside. I'm trying to manifest it. Am I doing a good job, chat? We're gonna find out. But if Lenny is thinking what I'm thinking, if Rise is thinking what I'm thinking, they make that play, but instead, a play is made on them, and Aimbo comes away with 2. That's why it pays to be decisive at the end of the day. if you want to be the best in Gears, you have to make the first move. And we saw Fury 1 show no fear. They says, if you ain't gonna do it, we'll do it.
I know. The confidence to do that against a Vexes and Detox of all players.
Man.
Absolutely crazy.
Oh my.
Shot from Toti at the end. Essentially a Superman, actually, I think, Guy, surprisingly. But any case, I mean, let's talk about the rest of the round. It was a complete deadlock. Both teams and every player were kind of mirroring each other. But Usain Boot that broke that deadlock. Look at this. Just jumped off a plat out of nowhere.
Destroyed him. He says, you want some?
Doing it, but you just can't react in time. Two incredible Gibbs and the rest of the teammates who follow up as he opened the door.
It's like Peeker's advantage in other games sometimes, right? You might as well just hop and make your play. Don't even overthink it, okay? The aggressive one always wins at the end of the day if he really about that life. The sniper goes down. The incendiary won't clean up. The second one a little bit too deep. Enzum cleans up the kill. It's a 3v4 in favor of Rise. Ventry may get taken out. That should be a triple down.
By the book.
Yep, they got it.
Slow. They'll find this one. Absolutely. Checkout oftentimes can be that first kill to set the pacing of things, right? To ensure that you find the remaining kills and play it slow as Rise are known to. It's just the question of are the opposition going to fly at you as soon as you do get that first kill? Usually that's your only way back into the round in general in execution, but it's absolutely doable on checkout. But if you have the snipe, if you have the distance, you're on the back checkout, you should be able to make sure that you slow it down just enough to prevent your opponents from getting back into the game, and that's exactly what Rise did right there. Rushy's super aggressive for that 1v.
That was a great...
He's outplayed him. Absolutely, he's got hold of the nades. He's been able to roll out of that too. Meanwhile, the rest of his team have the numbers advantage. I say that. Rushy's has been taken down elsewhere. Question is, Fury 1 going to wait and slow it down? No. In fact, they're simply on the flank as soon as they can, but they have to push up Rowan and Zem. They have the numbers there, but the revive comes through. Detox climbs up as fast as he can on Plat. What a response from Rise after losing Rushy's. Difficult scenario when you have the pinch instantly coming for you. They try to 2v1 it and also get back in to help the rest of the teammates over a Plat. Well done, Rise.
Well done indeed. You know, it started with a lot of pressure from Rushy's. His first flash, like, what was just so great about the flash was the angle in which he tossed it, because by him tossing it first, if anyone stepped out, they're going to be stunned, and it puts him in a position to get a kill with a shotty. But if they back down, which is what Rushy's wants, he gets free nades. Yeah, so beautiful heads-up play. At the inside, Enzum takes a lot of free damage. He gets away quickly, knowing that he'll be pursued. And a cross coming in from screen left towards the mid-map. It's Toti. He'll move in. Getting a little bit too close for comfort after he got that first kill. Now, Jolly, he's left by himself in a 3v1. And yeah, when Toti came in and got the first, he needs to hop that plat and stay alive or something, but instead we saw him trying to get jiggy with it or something. You know, he tried it. He tried it.
Yeah. Trying his best, right? Absolutely. Trying his absolute best to be as fast as possible and unpredictable as possible in many ways. Rise doing a good job, though. You know, they get those first kills. They've had some very difficult moments, guys, as Aimbu has clearly demonstrated through the plat, but they've had a fantastic job of actually slowing things down and responding to the aggression that Fury 1 are going through. Rushy's again going for the nades. Absolutely. His favorite weapon in the game at this point has got to be the nades, with what he does with Clock Tower, and now check out clearly the base strat, it seems, for Rise. Nades coming through. A down even for Rushy's is big enough, and it's a 4v1 at the end there. In 20 seconds, they're able to find the kills. Mind you, despite Fury 1 having the 4v3 advantage at checkout, Rise are really putting this kind of conventional gameplay back to basics, the 3-1 as we see in Classic XE 1.0 on previous titles, as kind of just a meta to behold. Rise are dialing this in, and it's going to be very threatening, I think, for a lot of teams going into the major.
It's going to be super threatening, especially as Rise has pretty much won everything over this last 2 months. You know, they won the last 2v2 Astro battles in 2 separate duos as well, the major, and now with them being undefeated in the Pro League, this Rise is on top of the world. They're looking to stay there. Fury 1 fighting back in round 7. Put another one on the board, but will it be enough? Do they got enough to shut us up? Do they got enough to be able to make the upset come from behind? We gonna know real soon. We gonna know real soon.
Yeah, I mean, we got to map number 5 somehow. Fearzly got us here, so they just need to finish it off.
That's
they
true.
are a good checkout team, but Rise have really improved a lot on this map, has to be said. 2 majors ago, they absolutely were not contenders for one of the best teams on checkout. Like here they are, showing it once again. The Vexi's lovely finding a kill there on Toti. Incense as well, 3v3 scenario. Jala able to get the nades and able to rotate back in time. I'm surprised actually Rise could have rotated and pushed this 3v2 a lot earlier, but they didn't choose to. But now they're doing it. Nades. That's the concern. Take your advantage when it's there and
Boy,
go right up
Jolly.
when the nades are already at your feet. Perhaps Rise should have been a little bit quicker, a little bit more flashy in those moments.
That was a beautiful nade from downtown. And, you know, I was going to say, you know, much props to Vexi's for not, you know, getting lost and picking up that free snipe and backing up. You know, instead he played for the angle to force his team back, which was the right play. And, you know, it's like a game of blackjack. You know, sometimes you're just going to lose to, you know, Jolly, you know, tossing those nades on his side of the map because he knows that he needs to defend his teammates and getting out of that situation and also protect that snipe pickup. It worked out in the end for Fury 1, but will it be enough? As AIM will be able to grab the incendiaries, backs out, 1 left, tosses it on the inside. The outside and inside creates a trap, a double down. Enzum gets revived. He's trying to make it to the outskirts. Rushies gets flanked. Enzum in the inside gets taken out as well as a Vexi's and Fury 1. Taking it 1 round at a time. What they known for. 2 remaining, Toby. Surely not. We don't make it to a round 11.
If they can get 3 in a row, they can get 2 more. Surely.
Yeah, you're right. Damn,
it's just that's simple math. I mean, surely
Toby Campbell,
doable,
everybody.
At least on paper.
Toby Campbell.
I'm here all week. Well, I probably am. I mean, I've been here all week.
You have been all week.
Start, pretty much. So, yeah, let's continue with that. I don't mind at all. 5 to 4, though, guy. I mean, Rushies has gone for the nades. He needs to use them just as well as Jala did in that previous round.
Oh, the pressure from Enzum. He takes down Ventry of Vexi's with a snipe pickup. He's taking this out wide. They cannot allow Toti to escape from this situation, but too much time off the clock. Has to pull out that shotty and force the engagement, but AIM forces 1 on platform. He's taken out quickly, and Fury 1 player remaining. And Jolly is not going to get the luxury. He needs a godlike pistol, and only pistol I know that can even pull off that play is non-existent anymore. It's Rise in the round 11, the round 10, who was able to come out on top, close this one out. 6 to 4. Close one for him, though, Toby. That's a close one. They lucky we didn't see that. The whole series.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, very good point. We just see them in their star-studded moments where they clutch up. And
yeah, right?
Else, right. Hide the mistakes.
It's when they on camera.
Away, yeah, exactly. It was a good map. It was 6 to 4. It's still close. Don't get me wrong. But Rise were the better team in checkout in terms of the responses. Fury 1 had some good movements. It was kind of leverage in a way from aim boot. You know, some of those rounds through the plat. Really did have to make Rise double check themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
Double guess and you know how they're going to approach a round. But I like that they kind of stick to the Rise kind of gameplay, if you will, of going for the nades, playing a bit slower. Here's the series, though. Oh, interesting. It was not close on a lot of these maps. It was actually District the closest one. Yeah.
Clock Tower, too. I still think that's a great win from Fury 1 to 6-2 on Clock Tower. That's a great map.
The nade strategy probably didn't work there for Rise, it's safe to say, as we were just hyping that up throughout checkout.
Even Fury 1 taking District control says a lot to me. But we've seen them beat eUnited on that map right there, right?
It's a strong map, yeah.
Strong map for Fury 1, so
Fury 1.
definitely respect them there, all right? You don't want that map in any series against them because it seems like they always find a way to win it when they need to clutch up. So, yeah. But kudos there for us being able to see that map 5. Congrats to Rise for staying undefeated. And they'll join the ranks of PK. Now, yeah, exactly. I think that Pioneers can be undefeated as well, if I'm not mistaken, if they win their matchup at the end of the night. So we'll see if we'll have 3 teams at 3-0 in the league. Probably one of the first times that we saw that in a very long time. Usually we just have 2 in that undefeated position. But in the end, me and Toby, we'll get the answers to all our questions. We still got one more series coming up. Don't go anywhere. We got the Pioneers versus Casa de Papel. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you soon.